Grand Rising, my friends. The market has been bleak, let's be real. But that's also a bright side. Everything's for sale. Look, when I do my video that talks about that, the psychiatric understanding of it is that the psychology of it is that when things are going well and green, everyone is happy and like things are going to go on forever. That's when you should be. Let me take profits. Let me be a little bit fearful and don't feel so good. And that's not even fearful. Is just understand that it's an up and down and don't think things are going to go up forever or down forever. So when things are going down, things are for sale for me. You know, have some cash on hand that you were able to, that things were a little bit too expensive. Now you're like, oh my gosh, it's time to jump in like a mud. Better than I could have thought. So Bitcoin at 35,398, Ethereum at 2,437, Binance at 368, Cardano at $1.07, Solana at $95. Imagine if these things were coming down this when Solana was at almost 250, was at 250. XRP at 60 cents, Terra at 66, Doge at $13, Polkadot 18, Avalanche 61.57, Shiba Inu 4 zeros 21. Shiba had a pump today, went up at 18% at one point, now at 7. So don't feel bad, be excited. These are around forever. You'll see that as we get to talking about what comes up next. And with that, we hear about that positivity. You know what that positivity is? Supposed to say, hold on a second. You know what that positivity is? Didn't have one of the lights on. If there's somebody in your life, anybody, even if there's someone, do you love anyone? Is there? I'm just with you. But write something nice about them down in the comment section. Forward them this video and say, go read what I wrote about you. Watch the video as well and learn something. He's not saying any bad words yet. You're going to force me to that point at some point, though. Joking as I say that, of course. Game on. Microsoft buying Call of Duty maker Activision for $68.7 billion to quote unquote enter the metaverse. Long story short, Activision's been having a lot of problems lately. The corporate culture there has not been the best. And because of that, it seemed like a good idea to just sell the company and allow them to, over time, change out management. And I mean, you'll see this a lot for those who haven't been in big organizations or not aware of it or just hasn't been aware. When an organization's having a lot of problems, sometimes they'll just change the name, and that can do work wonders. Look at Facebook. You know, Facebook was having a lot of discussion about what they were doing with the impact on children and privacy. Changed the name to Meta, and all day everybody was talking about it's been a metaverse since. I mean, usually it's not that dramatic for the most part, but don't be fooled. Now, are they going to change the name to Activision? Probably not. Just by buying it, they can just keep the name Activision Blizzard, and just it'll be a division of Microsoft, and probably, I'm sorry, I hit the mic, and that and just will continue to just chug along on. Suppose they're going to also keep the CEO, but they'll probably at some point have him step out. So yeah, so the deal comes months after Activision Blizzard faced sexual harassment allegations. Activision was sued by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing last July. It was accused of promoting a culture of constant sexual harassment. I thought it was also, had reached an employment with the Equal Opportunity Commission as well. So Microsoft will had the lawyers handle these issues, and then they will continue. Now, two things that this is going to be big for. So if you're not in Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken, their stock was down a lot. Or some, it was down. It was like up in the 310s. Now it's down to 296. Like everything else is on sale. Point of it being, they're going to add this to their Game Pass. And if you're not aware, for individuals who have a Microsoft Xbox Game Pass, you can play their library of games on Xboxes or personal computers, PCs, for one price a month. Now they're going to add all the games from Blizzard. So all the Call of Duties, Overwatch, Diablos, World of Warcraft to their, on PC, probably StarCraft as well, to their Xbox Game Pass. Now, for the most part now, if you have their Game Pass, you don't even have to buy games anymore, because the day games drop, you have access to it on Game Pass. If it comes out of, Microsoft, it used to be whatever Microsoft, what they were dropping, but now is it Activision Blizzard too? So it's going to make the Microsoft Game Pass super attractive for individuals. It's basically Netflix for video games for people. And at this point now, imagine Netflix and Disney Plus joined. Now you still got HBO Max and Paramount out there, but Netflix and Disney Plus just got together. So, Microsoft, they do well in that, and they'll have that knowledge to go forth and build the metaverse as well with them in that, and have all of these intellectual properties able to use in the metaverse. So big win for Microsoft. Elon Musk brain chip firm Neuralink lines up clinical trials in humans. So they're going to launch clinical trials in humans this year. Supposedly there's technology out there looking at using wireless ability to read and write at the neuronal level, but what are you going to say? But hey. So we'll be I'm sure all of us will be keeping a close eye on this. We hope to have this in our first humans, which will have people that have severe spinal cord injuries like tetraplegics and quadriplegics next year. Tetraplegics, and quadriplegics next year, pending FDA approval, he told Wall Street. So the thing, though, and I don't know if they mentioned this article, is that they lost the head of Neuralink last year. There were some problems, and he left. Also, like the head of Raptor engine production for SpaceX left. And I love the ideas that Elon are trying to keep his companies on. Is just, I don't know if he's picking the wrong people or pushing them too hard or something, but see if they don't even mention that, they lost that the head of, kind of his, you'll say, but isn't Elon the head of Neuralink? Yeah, but even in SpaceX, he always finds someone who is the expert in that field and build with that person. So the guy he was working with in terms of the neuroscience for Neuralink left last year, but they don't mention it. Who co-founded? I think the guy who co-founded with him left. I'm not 100%. Double check everything. If I haven't said it, none of what I say is financial advice or any type of advice, medical advice, or advice on matter of cosmology. I mumble garble stuff as well. So, and I get stuff wrong. So, but don't do your own research. People try to do too much in their own research and is messing things up. Listen to very smart people who don't seem to have their own agenda and mimic the things they do and build on that. That's what I try to do in this world. Such as legendary investor Bill Miller says half of his personal net worth is invested in Bitcoin and other cryptos. Now, what? Bill Miller, he used to say that, yeah, he dabbled in it and, was an observer, but half of his net worth, a billionaire, what? Yes, he recently revealed that half of his personal net worth is invested in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So he used to say that, hey, look, he first looked at it back in 2014 when it was trading around 200. First bought it then, kept purchasing more and more, and stopped when it rose around 500. Started buying it in last year when it went to 60, 64, 60 something, and then dropped back down to 30s. He said, hey, he went in whole hog, as they say on it. Then it sounds like. So now he says he sees it now. He's been looking at. Also, I think he's been putting some money, he said, in the micro strategy of his other investments. Comes down to the basic, and this is what the game theory is of it as well. Very basic. And I think I got another story about it in a couple of days, how countries are getting deep into the game theory of it. To the very basic level of supply and demand, Bitcoin is the only economic entity where the supply is unaffected by the demand. Still, they warn against the volatility, of course, So, I don't know if he doesn't sound like he's a maximist, but it sounds like he is a heavy believer in Bitcoin, which you all should be if you're watching this or understand that. If you got from me at anything is that Bitcoin drives the market. The other ones can go and probably even have higher dances, but they can have much higher falls as well. So it's a delicate, your goal should be using your movements in these other coins and tokens to accumulate more Bitcoin over time, and Ethereum and Cardano over time, so that eventually, you're using that to generate yield to pay for your lifestyle, or what you may do, the philanthropy you may want to do, who knows. Jerome Powell, is his name Jerome Powell? They say J Powell. I think it's Jerome Powell though. Anyway, says that federal report on crypto and central bank digital currency is ready to go. The Fed will soon release its insights. And I think they may have by this is a little bit old, or maybe any day now, but because they've been talk about how I'll get to it in a second. But anyway, so they're going to drop a report. Everybody's saying they're ready for it. Likely focus on central bank digital currencies, which Powell said the Fed is looking into ever since China launched its own digital yuan. I think that's pronounced. But it sounds possible the report may also look at other issues. Talked about it a lot. He said the biggest thing is stable coins. We have a tradition says stable coins should be regulated in comparable ways. And stable coins, if you're not certain, are digital assets that are pegged, quote unquote, to a certain price. And some pegged to, say, the US dollar. So every day you go there, like Tether is tethered to the US dollar, and USDC is a stable coin that says that every day that is worth $1. What $1 is worth that day? You go and you get $1, or you pick up $1 on the street, that's how much one USDC coin is worth. So if you had $10,000 in Bitcoin and you sold it all to $10,000 into Tether, and then that Bitcoin went to 60,000 now, you went to go buy some more, you're only going to buy a sixth amount, because it's still going to be $10,000. So it can work for you and against you in that stable coins. They are very useful in decentralized finance, because they have, instead of the numbers bouncing all around in terms of the volatility, have certain coins that are pegged to very specific value, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it says should be regulated in comparable ways to bank deposits and money market mutual funds. We have a tradition in this country that lights up bright my eyes, where the public's money is held in what is supposed to be a very safe asset. Also, the regulatory framework for deposits, money market fraud doesn't exist really for stable coins. So he said also that the best known Tether was claimed that it was backed by cash, since disclosed that much of its backing comes from commercial paper. Commercial paper are short-term overnight obligations from companies, and most of the time they're investment grade, because a lot of the investments that he, looks at, remember, the Federal Reserve is not part of our government. It is a private organization that's dealings with our government. Trust me, they act like they're part of the government, and everybody, and they don't mind that you think they're part of the government, but they're not. So anyway, and they use commercial paper all the time, which is just bonds from companies. Our short-term overnight obligations from companies, and most of the time they're investment grade. Most of the time they're very liquid. It's all good, he said, but added that the market just disappears during financial crises for everybody. Don't you know? So, sorry, I feel like I got a little bit blah, blah, blah at the end there, which, wasn't the intention, because I want you to be happy and moving on with your day. With that said, I love you. You love you. God loves us. And that's all that matters.